And we are back.
We're back, bumble bitches.
Episode 33, season 2 of the To Be Better podcast.
Correct.
We are live on Patreon. There was a mishap earlier, so there's a little bit of extra YouTube content being had right now. But we are
free access.
Yeah, we are recording content for August, and today is the 4th of July.
It is the 4th of July.
Yep. What are you doing?
So I ordered this 2 hours ago, and we're gonna be recording up until we have to leave.
Okay. So then I'm gonna let you scarf that down. I'm gonna take a quick pee break.
Perfect.
We can cut that out since we've done the intro, and then we can just jump right into emails.
I love it.
All right, let's do the thing.
Okay. So this one is titled Possible Podcast Question / Discussion. Hi, Chris and Peach. I am a 23-year-old woman working full-time and currently going to cosmetology school. Oh, excuse me. My parents got divorced when I was 9 or 10 years old, so I grew up seeing my mom grind hard as hell to provide for me and my brother. So I never really knew anything different. I also never saw my mom. My fiance is 25 years old, working full-time as well. We have been together for about 2 years, but we have known each other and have been best friends since around 2015, and we are planning our wedding. We both have to work full-time due to being young and trying to make ends meet. To put this into perspective, our apartment right now is costing about $915 a month, not including all the other bills we have acquired to go along with our lives. We can only afford one car at the moment because my car payment is almost $450.
Just thinking.
Okay, so they're both working full time. Now I'm just curious about all the finances because that's $1,065 a month, and of course other living expenses, car insurance, phone bills, whatever. So now I'm just curious about other funds and how much is being allocated. Are they door dashing?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions to be had there because it's not a lot of money.
Yeah. Especially if they're both working full time.
Right. Well, that it depends on what they're doing too.
Yeah.
You know, working minimum wage is minimum wage, and that depends on what minimum wage is in the state. But a $900 a month rent, like I haven't seen that in fucking 15 years.
Yeah.
You know, you can't even get a studio where we live for less than $2,000 a month.
Mm-hmm. All right. I tend to be really tired because I'm constantly moving and doing something. My schedule usually goes like this. 4:30 a.m. wake up and get dressed for the day and take the dog out. 5:30 a.m. leave the house to get my fiance to work. 6 a.m. take myself to work and have about 45 minutes to take a short nap. 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. work my shift. 3:30 p.m. I go and pick my fiance up from his job. 4 p.m. I get home, change for class. 4:45 get to class early to set up station. 5 to 10 cosmetology class. 10 to 11:30 dinner, decompression, getting into bed. And then 12:30 to 1 a.m. about the time I actually get to sleep. My days off of work are Wednesday and Saturday. Though I have Wednesdays off of work, I still have school and doctor's appointments, and Saturdays are usually my running errands day meant for picking up groceries and doing laundry and taking our dog to the dog park and spending time with her since I'm not around often. I'm hoping that eventually I will either be able to open my own salon or run a salon from my home.
How do you think that's going to happen if you're not making enough money to even survive right now? Huh?
Cameras.
I'm not turning it back on. It was just that was my question.
Okay, what was it?
No, I have to. How do you expect to do that if you can't even afford to live right now? That's the I wish mentality. And I'm not shitting on this person, but if you don't start doing things to change your circumstances now, you will never open a business. It costs money to open a business. Mm-hmm. It's not cheap. And sometimes, I mean, doing hair from her home, if she's licensed to do that, or not licensed, I don't know. You still have to buy chairs and you have to buy equipment. And if you're doing hair and like doing colors and shit, product's fucking expensive. It takes money to make money. Mm-hmm. So if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you guys are struggling financially right now, both working full-time jobs, somebody's going to have to pick up a third job or a second job. So there's 3 incomes coming in instead of 2 in order to make this dream a reality, or you're going to have to find a higher paying job, work for a little while and do the thing. Now, if she's going to school to be a cosmetologist doing hair and makeup and gets a job in a studio, her income's going to go up anyways.
Yeah.
And then she can start saving. And while she's doing that, slowly buy the things that she needs over time while she's learning her craft. It's a whole different discussion. But I felt the need to say that because I get very caught up in the whole one day I wanna. Well, what are you doing?
Right. What are
to
the
get to that
steps?
point? Right. Are you just wishing it's going to happen? Because wishing's not going to get shit done.
Yeah.
In the event that this thing drops again, guys, I will not be making it live again. In the event that this thing drops again, I'm just going to turn off the live stream and we're going to finish the episode and I'll post it later. All right.
All right, continuing on. I have listened to episode 39 of the podcast twice so far. I am working on my second listen through the entire podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Are you serious? Like,
What?
that's not an over-exaggeration.
What?
Second listen through of the entire podcast.
Yeah, we have quite a few people who have gone that are on their 3rd and 4th time.
That blows my mind. Like, I do that to other...
Yeah.
Like, there's a... Oh, what is his account? Some creepy... He reads creepy stories. And that's all he does. And I've listened through every single one. He hasn't posted in like 3 years. And it's just crazy that people do that with our content. I never thought that I would ever be a person of mass significance.
So again, for those who've been here the entire time, I had a conversation with Sean today about the podcast and what we're doing. And we talked about Vegas. We talked about the airports. We talked about people knowing us and like the recognition and the fame of all of it. And it's not that we're famous that people get emotional over and the way that they act. It's because I believe this is the conversation that we had today. I don't think that it's because we're famous. I think it's because we're actually giving people things that are changing their lives and it's meaningful.
Yeah.
And that conversation came up because we were talking about Mr. Beast, the Beast Burger guy or whatever he is, the most famous YouTuber ever. I've never watched a single one of his videos.
Yeah, but you know who he is.
Yeah, but I didn't know what he looked like until yesterday.
Wow.
I've never seen him. I don't give a shit about any of that. Like, but something came up where they were talking about him building homes for people in another country or whatever, and it piqued my interest, and I wanted to see what it was. So I got to know what he looked like. But there are people out there who have channels that I very much enjoy their content. For example, there's a photographer in the UK named Sean Tucker, Seantucker, Sean Tucker on YouTube. I think he's got less than 1 million followers. But if I ever saw him in public, I would stop and speak to him. Like I would want to have a conversation because he's a philosopher. And he was a clergyman at one point that does
That's
photography
crazy.
videos. You'll know who he is. If I pulled up one of his videos,
Yeah, I
you'd be
would
like, I know
know.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I fucking love his content because his content has impacted my life. I don't view him as famous. I view the work that he puts out as something that I have benefited from, and I would want to thank him for that. So now that I have that perspective, when people stop us, it's not a place of fame anymore. I mean, it could be for some people because people do think that we're famous, but I think that I'm going to approach this from we are adding value to people's lives and they just want to
That's how I view it, yeah.
be appreciative of it. It's made me uncomfortable here and there.
Yeah.
I love being stopped.
Right.
But when people start crying and get super weird emotional, I don't get it. I
Yeah.
understand now that it's not from a famous thing. It's from you've provided value. This is amazing kind of thing. So
Yeah.
just an epiphany. I don't remember even why I brought that up. It's irrelevant.
Well, I'm glad you shared it. Continuing on?
Yes.
Oh, right. I am working on my second listen through of the entire podcast on being in your masculine and feminine. And I feel like it hit me harder the second time listening to it. It made me question how can one truly be in her feminine energy, but still be able to get out there and grind for what I want and what I need. Because I hate feeling like I can't just let go of the anger or the stress of my day. Okay, I'm going to read that again. I hate feeling like I can't just let go of the anger or the stress of my day. Do you ever feel like that?
No.
Have you felt like that?
I have felt like that, but that's a choice.
Right. Okay.
This is one of those things that life doesn't happen to you. Life happens.
Right.
And what you assign to your life is the outcome of it. I don't believe that life is happening to me. That takes away all of my free will. It takes away my ability to interact with the environment around me. If I'm having a bad day, I'm having a bad day. My boss is an asshole. My boss is an asshole today. Like, maybe he didn't get laid last night. Fuck that guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not going to hold on to it. I'm going to process my shit and continue doing what I'm trying to do because I'm trying to do something. So that whole, the world is out to get me, I'm mad at everyone, pity me. Like, I just don't, I can't fuck with that mentality.
Right.
So
I agree.
being angry at the world is a superpower if you allow it to be a superpower. Let that chip on your shoulder be the thing that motivates you to get shit done. That shit, anger, Henry Rollins said, anger has always been my tool to get shit done. I am that guy. I will use my rage to fucking prove everyone a point. Like, it's worked. It's worked very well for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be angry anymore. I think that there are better ways to get things done through discipline and understanding, but I still revert to that because I'm still very angry inside. So watch me.
I like watching you.
Hey, watch me. Watch me.
You want to hear something crazy? So in raising children and giving them the tools to be functioning human beings, I am noticing my anger dissipate because anger is a mask. And anger, I'm angry, is slowly exiting my vocabulary because I'm not angry. I am frustrated. I am overwhelmed. You are overstimulating me. That noise you're making is annoying to my ear. Please stop it.
Yep.
And in teaching them how to label their emotions, it's teaching me to label my own. So if you don't have children and you have pets or a partner who you've been at odds with for a while now, I'd start labeling your emotions out loud. And when they hit you with, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? I don't like how I'm feeling, and I want to figure out why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, and this helps me.
I believe that we use our anger as an excuse to behave certain ways. Mm-hmm. Well, I did that because I was mad.
It made me mad.
No, you already wanted to act that way, and you used your anger as an excuse to behave that in that manner. Mm-hmm. That was a choice. You already wanted to yell. You already wanted to like belittle somebody and make them feel inferior. So you allowed yourself to get angry so that you could use that as an excuse to do that. Right? People that work in a customer service industry are there to help you.
Yep.
For the most part, that's what they're trying to do. And if something doesn't go your way and you choose to act up, it's because you already believe that you're superior to them because of the job that they're working versus what you do for a living.
Yeah.
The rich woman that pulls into Starbucks in a BMW that wants to talk shit to the barista who's fucking 19 years old working her first ever job, who's just trying to make enough money to pay her cell phone bill, still probably lives at her home with her parents and has no real idea what life is, but you didn't put non-fat fucking creamer in her drink and you want to be a see you next Tuesday over it. You already have that superiority complex walking into Starbucks. You're making a choice to get angry because somebody made a mistake so that you have the right to belittle somebody and treat them poorly.
Yeah.
I believe that. 1 Corinthians chapter 13:11 says, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, thought as a child, and understood as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. I believe that. When you are willing to put away that childish nonsense and understand that everybody around you is just trying to do the best they can, that anger changes. And anger is a tool. You use your anger to get shit done. It's a mask because you don't know how to process your emotions. There's a whole lot to that. But at the end of the day, all of that is a choice. Mm-hmm. You can choose to be that person or you can choose to be better. I believe that. So
I agree.
I think that people that use their anger to be holier than thou towards other people are disgusting.
Oh, I agree.
Yep.
I look down on those people. I will admit that.
Yeah. And to be clear, there's a difference between being petty
Yes.
and being superior. Yeah.
Okay, continuing on.
Yep.
Okay. I tend to be snippy by the time I get home for the night because of exhaustion or just a pure fact that I'm tired. I don't mean to be, and I always apologize for being that way once I've decompressed and had a few minutes to not be so overstimulated. Is it even possible to change something in my life to be able to not always be in my masculine because of having to grind for the things I'm striving for right now?
You think that having a job makes you masculine? It's called being an adult. You having a job doesn't make you masculine. Having to work to survive makes you an adult.
No, she means grinding. Like she's going to work. She's doing cosmetology school.
Right. She's trying to build a future for herself. It's called being an adult. You're surviving. It doesn't make you masculine until you find somebody that can actually put you in your feminine and allow you to not grind, as she put it. You have to do that to live. We have to work.
Right.
Nobody's going to take care of you until you've earned the right to be taken care of. And that comes from finding, in her case, a man who's going to be willing to step in and do those things, that is financially capable. But while he's grinding right now and doing the same thing, is that him in his masculine, or is that him trying to set up his life for his future? Like that's, I don't think that's a masculine thing. That whole independent, strong independent shit, you're an adult.
Right.
You have to be an adult. I don't understand why this is being equated to masculine or feminine. If you don't have somebody that you can teammate with that allows you to live in those gender roles,
right,
you have to do what you have to do to survive. Right. It's living.
So you're saying there's a difference between what she wants to talk about versus what she's actually talking about?
I do.
Okay. I want to make sure that I was following. A lot to keep up with.
You can be super feminine and fucking hustle.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you masculine.
Right.
You're trying to, I mean, there's a lot of fucking women out there who are super fucking feminine that are doing the life thing. What does that say about society? Oh man, we got so much hate for that feminine masculine conversation. But what does it say about society where having a job and building your future makes you a man?
Repeat that.
What does it say about our society where hustling and trying to build a future for yourself makes you a man? Because it's masculine. You're in your masculine. You're doing man shit. Because you're going to school to get into a career field that is feminine. Right?
Right. When you boil it down to that, right. Minus the grind because she said she's grinding.
Right. Well, she's going to school and working a job because she doesn't have a man to support her. Or anyone to support her for that matter. It could be a parent, a grandparent, whoever.
Right.
That makes you independent. In that aspect, I understand that you are doing it on your own. But that doesn't make you masculine.
Yeah. Independence doesn't have a gender.
Right. Makes you an adult.
Right.
I put away childish things.
Yeah.
I just don't like that.
I think I've stayed pretty feminine through the growth of what we've had.
Yeah. Well, you were feminine when you were working.
Yeah.
And being a single mom with 2 kids.
Yeah. I feel like I'm more feminine now, though.
Right. Because you have a teammate.
Yeah.
It's allowed you to do that. It's the beauty of a marriage and a union.
It's nice to have the support.
Here's another thought.
Okay.
We got that email. We actually read it not too long ago where that woman was super upset that I said femininity was weakness. Do you remember that? We just did this like a week ago. And I was like, that's not at all what I was saying. That's the way that society views femininity because they look at masculine as strong. And if femininity is the opposite of masculine, of course, that's the opposite, right? And like people got super butthurt over me saying that, but it was just a conversation. I've had another thought since all of then. Since we did that. And that thought is, if it's not viewed as weakness, then why do women say I am a strong, independent woman instead of just saying I'm an adult or I'm an independent woman? Why is the word strong in there if femininity is not viewed as weakness to a degree?
Or women viewed as weak.
Women do, right?
Yeah.
They just don't want to admit that because this woman could be in her feminine, doing the boss thing, hustling to make a future for herself, and could still very much be in her divine feminine the entire time. Now, when she finds a man who's masculine that can match that divine energy and allows her to back off and like can help her run her business, or she hires people and can do the stay-at-home thing if that's what makes her happy, it's a choice.
Yeah.
I don't think that working is a masculine thing. I think it's a necessity.
I agree.
And as long as the government continues to print money like it doesn't fucking exist, just by pushing buttons because they're not even really printing it anymore, it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
So $34 trillion in debt. We pay more than $700 billion a year in taxes of our tax money back to the Federal Reserve on top of the money that we make. We do not even make enough money in a year to cover the debt that we have while we're still printing money and doing more. So as the value of the dollar goes down and everything continues to get more and more expensive,
yeah,
this is just going to continue. So
that's terrifying.
Yep. Stupidity is what it is. Yep.
Okay, my thought came back. So she recognizes she gets home, she's in a bad mood and she's snippy. And then she apologizes for it afterwards. I tell the kids once a pattern of behavior is established, I'm sorry is not enough.
Oh, absolutely. I fucking agree. I
Yeah.
need to see change.
Right. I would look into emotional regulation videos on YouTube. If you're a reader, we have some on the recommended reading list.
Got a lot of it.
A lot of it. Perfect. Emotional regulation would be my advice. And then it ends with, is it even possible to change something in my life to be able to not always be in my masculine because of having to grind for things I'm striving for right now? We answered, I also want to say thank you for all of your wisdom and advice. I really look up to the both of you. Thank you for that.
I respect the grind, as she put it. I call it the hustle.
I agree with hustle.
I think I'm the hustle culture guy.
Yeah.
I know that that's frowned upon now, and like the internet is saying you shouldn't do that and you shouldn't go above and beyond and do all the extra work because you're not going to ever get anywhere and blah, 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 blah. That mentality will ensure that you never get anywhere. You're going to school, you're learning a trade. This girl is going to school, learning a trade and working a job right now. When she masters her craft and is licensed and can go get a job in a barbershop or a hair salon and starts doing color and makeup and can start landing weddings and doing things like that, like she could build a fucking empire for herself.
Yeah.
I know a lot of hairdressers, a lot, because the barbershop next to the tattoo studio has hairdressers there. And I'm very close to the owner of the barbershop. And every time we go out to dinner, he always tells me how much the girls are making there because, you know, women will spend $600 on their hair. And though the color is expensive and he's got to pay out, he's making a huge fucking cut. Like there's a lot of money to be made in that. Women's appearance is important to them. I have heard women say, like, I've cut out Starbucks and all my extra eating, and I only eat what's left over from the night before so that I can afford to get my hair and nails done every month. Like,
Yeah.
people will do what's important to them. And if your outward appearance is important to you, you're going to spend the fucking money on it. So like her doing what she's doing right now is gangster as fuck. And it's going to ensure that she is able to live a good life. Now, if she finds a man who has that same drive, it's fucking game over.
Yeah.
Because if she's making $150,000 a year and meets a man who has that same work ethic and she has the business knowledge, she could step back and be the behind the scenes paperwork person that makes all of that run, and he could run the businesses and fucking, they could $500,000 a year easy. Mm-hmm. It just comes down to the work ethic and having that mindset of being able to do it. I don't know. We still work. You're not a stay-at-home anymore. As much as I like to believe you are, because you do get a lot of free time, you are working. We still have traditional gender roles and we're doing a thing, but like we push each other. You motivate me. Like I wouldn't be doing this shit if it wasn't for us. Like I don't think that it makes you masculine. When you were doing your soap line and you were creating your own products, like there was nothing masculine about that.
Yeah. I
didn't view you as, oh, look at this blue. I'm gonna start calling my wife names like we're on a fucking job site. Like
start spitting right.
Yeah, I don't like that. I really don't like that mentality, and I think that that's learned, and I believe it can be unlearned.
I agree. I think a reminder is needed of this isn't gonna last forever either. Cosmetology school is going to end one way or another. You're either gonna graduate or you're gonna drop out.
Yep.
But either way, that's not gonna take up a lot of your time. This job is not going to be the job for the rest of your life unless you decide it to be. Oh my gosh. There was a job I had once where I had to be up at 4 a.m. I got to the point to where I was waking up 4 minutes before I had to walk out of the door to go to work, to be at my first stop on time. I was so exhausted, and I was up at 4 a.m., I think, to drive 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I was ready in 4 minutes to get out the door. I hated my life. I was so depressed. Cried every day on my way to work. There was one time I had a mental breakdown in the car. I was sitting in a Publix parking lot. I can look back and laugh on it now, but in the moment I was ready to unalive myself. I was looking at the sunrise. I had already been up for 3 hours. It was during the holidays. And I was on the phone sobbing about how I hated my job, I hated my life, and I was never going to go anywhere. And now here I am. And in that moment, it felt like time was taking forever. And looking back, that was years ago.
Right, but if you would have just accepted that was your life.
Right.
And made excuses and never tried to do anything more and just went with the current, you wouldn't have the life you have now.
Right.
Right. You have to make a decision to do more. And that chick's doing it. Like you suffer now so you don't have to do it when you're older.
Yeah.
It's not masculine.
It's life.
It's discipline. It's responsibility. Yeah. Let's do another one.
Okay. This one is titled Self-Care and Time Management. Hello, I've been watching you all since you started the podcast and first want to acknowledge that this is all an accumulation of choices I have made in the past.
Fuck. Now I've got nothing to talk about.
It will sound like a list of excuses, but I promise you I'm motivated to get out of it.
Okay.
Pardon me. What I need is a reality check of how. I admire the way you both take time for each other, yourselves, your health, various income streams, and your kids. Perhaps I'm not seeing a way to make something work from being so burnt out while going through it. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. It's a lot.
Right. It took Zach saying, just put the chairs side by side. And we were like, oh my God.
Right. Which is something we've had that setup. Like
Yeah.
that was our favorite setup.
Right.
And we've said that numerous times, and we have a giant fucking room and didn't do that.
And didn't think of it. Yeah. So when you have a lot going on in your mind, some of the most obvious choices or decisions are not there.
Right.
Got blinders on.
It'd be like that.
I feel like I lack every resource I see everyone else has. Family to help, a college degree. Okay, so.
That's a lie you're telling yourself.
Yeah, let's go down the list. I feel like I lack every resource I see everyone else has. Family to help.
Don't have that.
No. Vaguely.
What do you mean vaguely?
Some emotional support.
I don't have that at all.
And 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah, I don't.
Vague. Very vague. Estranged. A college degree.
Don't even have a high school diploma or a GED.
Yeah, I don't have a college degree. Friends to blow off steam with.
I do have a couple friends, but I don't use them for that.
I agree. Our schedules very rarely ever line up, and when they do, we're not complaining about life.
Right. It's also not their problem.
Yeah.
And if the only thing I ever bring to my friends is my bullshit, why would they want to be around me?
Okay, so what if they meant blow off steam like going mini golfing? Or
That's
going
recreational
drinking?
time. Yeah, drinking is problematic.
Right, but recreation time.
Well, I mean, mini golf is different than drinking.
Right, well, people view different things as different
Right.
hobbies.
Well, that perception is a problem. If they're trying to get ahead in life and they're going out drinking, you're not going to get ahead doing that.
Right.
So let's call it what it is. Going out to play mini golf for an hour once a month with your friends is a very different. That's social. That's self-care.
Right.
It's very different than going out and getting drunk 3 nights a week or every weekend or going to the club. Mm-hmm. You live the life that you want to have.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing by doing that. So
we have D&D. We had poker. So we had that.
we have self-care. Yep.
Yep. A set schedule to work around.
Our life is complete fucking chaos.
Always. Yeah. Extra money to hire help.
Money's got to be earned.
Yeah.
Do you do it in the beginning? Do it all by yourself. Mm-hmm. When you're able to finally hire somebody, oh my God, is it glorious?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I don't have to do this now. I'm paying you to do this.
Right.
Greatest,
Worth it.
greatest feeling on the planet next to an
Yeah.
orgasm.
Or as their last resort, welfare.
Didn't have that either. I had too much pride
Yeah.
to ever ask for a fucking handout.
I had to. I had children.
Yeah, I did not. Nope. No welfare for me.
All right. And I'm failing to meet my own needs.
That's a you problem.
So what are the needs? If you don't know the needs, I would list that out.
Yeah.
And why are they being failed to be met? Is it time restraints? Well, look into time management. If it's money and you're an extravagant spender or you take some type of sleep aid and you order things on Amazon in your sleep, put that shit on lockdown, like.
Yep. But again, that comes down to a you problem. If you know
Yeah.
what the problems are, you can fix them.
Yep. I feel selfish for the amount of thought I've put into how I can go back to work, how I can work on my health, how I can form relationships, how I can start a hobby, how I can better myself in any possible way. But I do not expect anyone to save me. I feel selfish for the amount of thought I've put into how I can go back to work, how I can work on my health. Okay, why? Why is there a guilt there?
I have a better question.
Okay.
Why are you spending your time daydreaming instead of putting the work in?
Ooh.
Because what you're doing, you're daydreaming.
Why is
One
this
day,
messy?
one day I'm gonna to school to be a cosmetologist. I know it's a different email, but
That was a different email, yes.
one day I'm gonna learn to fix engines. One day I'm gonna be rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, how? Because talking about it ain't gonna fucking get it done. You got a plan? Have you started taking steps?
Yep.
You gotta get to work. Thinking about shit's not gonna get it done. Sun Tzu in The Art of War, which I've referenced quite a bit over the last few months, even so much so that people have told me that you can't apply the art of war to everything. Sun Tzu said that you need 40% of a plan.
Yes.
If you wait for 100%, your enemy has already won. Because people don't wait until they have 100% developed of a plan. If they're going to attack you, they need 40%. Shock and all. Let's go. So if you know that you want to go to school to be a cosmetologist, the first thing you need to do is find a way to do that. And if you can't afford it, you start looking into grants. If you can't find grants, like through the government, look into organizations. Once you start looking, start reaching out to schools. How much is the tuition? Do you have grants available through the school that I can apply for?
Yep.
That shit's available.
Yeah.
I want to be a welder. Cool. Call Votech. Hey, I want to take a course on welding. Do you guys have companies that you work with that do grants? Look at the Mike Rowe Foundation, right? Like, let's start taking steps to get it done. Let's not think about it. Let's do.
Let's do.
Yeah. You do a 5K one step at a time, 10K, a marathon, triathlon, one step at a time.
Correct. I would also inquisit. Is that the word?
Inquire.
Inquire. Is there a self-worth issue there? Because I don't view that as selfish at all.
Yeah, I don't either.
My growth, my health, my life is important.
Yeah. Well, why would you view that as selfish?
Right. Is there trauma there? Childhood trauma, relationship trauma?
She said she doesn't have anybody else that's going to help her do it.
Right.
No one's coming to save you. So do for you. Nobody else is going to do it.
Yeah. Continuing on.
Yes.
I know I put myself here and I need to do it on my own. I'm also learning these are actual human needs as I'm feeling the fallout of going 5 years without. Oh, well, what are the human needs? For background, I'm hung up on that. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I hope that you answer what the human needs are. For background, I have been with my husband since 2015. I was freshly 18 and about to be homeless from a chaotic situation at home with no knowledge of credit or budgeting yet, or any time to figure it out. We were friends from work and I moved in 3 months after we started dating, as he kindly offered me a place to sleep besides my car. We had our first child in 2019. We were married in October of 2020, and we had our second child a year later.
So she's never hit rock bottom and never had to do it on her own.
Yep.
That's what it comes down to. This comes down to the helicopter, the parenting shit. Everybody's doing for you. Until you've hit rock bottom, you have no idea what you're capable of. I truly believe that. When you get to the point where like you realize that no one is coming to save you, you'd be real fucking surprised what you can accomplish. Right? Like you're motivated. It's life or death. You get a lot accomplished.
Yeah. Continuing on.
Yep.
I did not go to college as we were in survival mode financially for our first 4 years. Ideally, this is not how we would have found each other or formed our relationship. We were still going strong, but we are still going strong and finding ways to be better. My friends at the time were big partiers or moved across the country and still remain childless. So these relationships all faded when motherhood came out. When I returned to work after my oldest was born, I was immediately promoted. My husband and I made childcare work between our two schedules until he also got promoted a couple of months later. Due to past trauma, I didn't trust many people to watch my baby at the time, and any family that promised to help in that way while I was pregnant suddenly became unavailable for various reasons. We decided I would stay home until my son was in kindergarten. We have moved 5 times since being together, and I have not formed close relationships that lasted, though not for lack of effort. Any thoughts? We now live in a farmhouse in the country with the cheapest rent in our state, probably while we have... Oh gosh. We now live in a farmhouse in the country with the cheapest rent in our state, probably, while we save to buy a home. We cannot afford any other rent, and for how much money we are throwing towards debt and savings, there is no wiggle room for therapy, babysitters, gym, etc. That sounds like an excuse to me. When it comes to therapy, it sounds like an excuse. Therapy is free.
Can be.
You can get it on YouTube. I follow therapists on TikTok. There's a child therapist that I follow on TikTok that I'm getting a lot of information from.
Yeah.
She specializes in play therapy. And I'm learning it for free, scrolling on TikTok.
Yep.
In regards to the gym, you can work out at home. You can do body weight exercises.
Live on a farm. They said they live in a rural area.
Yeah.
No excuse to be out of shape. Have you ever lived on a farm?
I have not, but I had family that has.
There's always work to be done.
Yeah.
Always. No days off. Like your day starts when the sun comes up. Animals need to be tended to, whatever.
Yeah, no, we were inside for bed.
Yeah, that's it. So there's always something to do. You can definitely get some fitness in on a farm. Mm-hmm. Redo your fence. Tell me you don't get a workout fucking throwing that post hole digger. Right? Like, there's a lot. There's always work to be done. Maintain your property. Take trees down, whatever. So the fitness aspect, that I agree. They're paying down debt and saving.
Right.
That's gangster. If you don't own your house, your credit's important if you're going to buy one. But like, you can't.
Where's the leniency?
Where's the savings going? Are you saving so that one of you could go to school and get a better job? Or are you just saving to save money?
How much is in savings?
Right. That matters too.
Is it actually staying in savings?
Right.
Yeah. We believe we can do it by June of next year if we stick to our current budget.
What?
Buy a house.
Okay.
I have looked at returning to work to help us financially, but my husband works a changing schedule and is never sure when exactly he will be home.
So DoorDash.
Right, put the babies in the
Instacart.
back seat.
Right. It's an excuse. All right. Let's real quick.
Okay.
Because I really hate this shit. Just off the top of my head right now, things that I could go do for money.
Okay.
Right? I have a truck and a trailer, so I have a leg up. I can go and pick up scrap metal that's been left on the side of the road and scrap metal. Not aluminum cans, but like washers, dryers, refrigerators, scrap metal. And if I dedicate an entire day to that every day, like not just a couple hours, but like a full work schedule for every week, I could easily pull in $500 to $1,500 a week just scrapping metal. If I wanted to DoorDash or Instacart, I could do that. I have heard of people this came from Discord, somebody that went and got animal litters off of Facebook Marketplace and then resold them. If you have mechanical skills, you can go and pick up those washer and dryers, and instead of taking them to the dump, you can buy the cheap ass parts, replace the parts, and resell them on Facebook Marketplace. You can get cars that aren't running and flip vehicles. Mm-hmm. There's always something that you can do to make money. Always. It comes down to how much you're willing to do, how creative are you willing to get, and how much do you want it. Having the kids doing a DoorDash thing, and like, you could do that being a single mom and keep your kids with you all day long. Are they going to get bored back there and get under your skin? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Get a cheap ass Amazon Fire tablet and some headphones and let them rock out back there while you do your thing, right? Yeah. Like that's very plausible. You need a vehicle for that, but
do they only have one car?
I don't know.
That was the other email.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's just one of those things. Like there are so many things that you can do to make money. You know how many people I know that go on freetrader.com and go get furniture that's dirty and dingy and just steam it and then put it on Facebook Marketplace and flip it? If you go get a couch for free that's got some nasty upholstery that just needs to be steam cleaned, there's no rips or tears. You reach out like, hey, I just got my own place. This would really help me. Can I come get it? And they're like, yeah, come get it. And it's free. And all you got to do is move it, go home, clean it, and then put it on Facebook Marketplace for $250. It took you an hour to clean it, an hour to pick it up and get it home. You just made $125 an hour.
Yeah.
You need a place to store it, obviously, but like there's always a way to do shit like that. If you don't have any real trade, get on the internet and learn how to fucking do something. Get on YouTube and learn some sort of skill and start offering that as like a part-time side thing where you can make your own schedule to go do that. Start creating arts and crafts shit and selling it on Etsy. Like, learn how to make resin molds and fucking... There's something. Like, you can always do something. You just have to be willing to do the work instead of doom scrolling on your phone and making excuses.
Yep. Continuing on.
Somebody said I'd have to drive 45 minutes to an hour away to be able to DoorDash. It's not available in my area. So drive the 45 minutes. Sign up for DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, and Instacart. Drive your ass to the city and sit at whatever grocery store there is and just fucking wait for those things to come through and then drive your ass an hour home every day.
Yep.
And when you're making an extra $1,000 to $1,500 a week because you're hustling every day, it's worth it because now you're making $4,000 to $5,000 a month. Mm-hmm. You get to live a little more comfortable.
Yeah.
And you got a whole 2 hours a day that you can listen to audiobooks or the To Be Better podcast.
Yeah. When I was a single mom, I used to drive an hour to an hour and a half every day, one way to get to work.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, do what you got to do. All right. We have moved 5 times, not for lack of effort. We live in a farmhouse.
Hold on real quick. Lyric said, I DoorDash for an extra $3,000 a month. My homeboy Jacob is like one of my true friends. Makes more than $1,000 a week door dashing, and he makes his own schedule. He mainly works Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and when he feels like it during the week.
That's crazy.
Jacob's a hustler. Like he wants to. He's going to earn, and he does, and he makes a really good living doing it. And we live in a small town. There's less than 300,000 people where we live. So, and that's with 3 cities combined. Less than 300,000 people.
That's a small town.
Yeah. Well, there's much smaller towns, but where we live has grown quite a bit over the last 20 years. But anyways. I just did all that talking without changing cameras.
Oh.
I'm listening, though. Let's run it.
Okay, continuing. He's usually gone 12 hours a day, so I can't even get a part-time job due to not knowing availability. Yeah, a lot of at-home things you can do. Crocheting is easy.
People buy that shit, too.
Oh, God, me? Yes, I do.
Yep. Jessica Sharp said, I started a cleaning business so I can work during school hours.
Yep.
Do home daycare. I mean, these people are just fucking running it. It's the chat, dude. You guys are on point. This is why you joined the Patreon. Discord community's fucking there for you. This brainstorming shit is gangster.
Yep.
All right.
All right, continuing. It also makes it difficult to go anywhere regularly to meet people. So you have access to the internet, and I would find a community online. It's the next best thing. Why does that make that hard? Did it say they have one car? Sounds like. I feel like. Do you remember them having one car in this?
No, I think that might have been the last one. I don't know. That Jessica chick said that she started cleaning a business. Said that she lives in a town of 7,000 people.
Oh wow.
And I'm willing. Okay, so here's a. I gotta go both of us. Here's a thought idea thing for you to run through. For all of you, let's say you live in a town of 50,000 people or less. Go onto Google and type in cleaning business to find out how many cleaning, like maid services there are in that town. If there's 2 or 3, you've got a huge fucking market that you can start working. Mm-hmm. You get referral business from that. You do a really good job for somebody and somebody comes over and is having Thanksgiving dinner and the house is fucking spotless. And they're like, oh yeah, I got a great cleaning lady. Oh, I got to get her number before I leave. That referral business is huge. Pressure washing, detailing, auto detailing, right? Like those kind of referral companies, referral businesses add up. So one person in a town of 7,000 people, even if there's 5 of you doing it, there's no way that all 5 of you are cleaning 7,000 homes.
Right.
Right now, is it the reality of that? All 7,000 people looking for that many? No. But if you start marketing and doing Google AdWords and you start investing in your business, you will make the money back that you're spending on the marketing aspect and you're going to get new clients. And you can go, hey, I know that I normally charge you $200 every time I clean your house. I'm going to charge you $150 every single time you get a referral. So I'm going to leave you these business cards, and every time you get me somebody, when I come and clean your house, I'm going to knock $50 off your house. That's incentive. Why the fuck would I want to pay you $200 when I can pay you $150 and all I got to do is hype you up to my homie? Like, bro, I know you work 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week. Your apartment looks like shit. It's my cleaning lady's number. She'll take care of you. Your shit will be spotless. You'll feel good coming home. All you do is be a salesman for one person every month. You make money. You get the referral from it. Your people are the ones doing the advertising, and they're putting their name on your brand. So now you don't even have to sell yourself. Just get to the point where you're booked every day, all day long, and go work.
Then you can start recruiting your friends.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going to use the restroom real quick.
Okay.
And then we can continue.
Okay. All right.
I told you earlier, I think I was dehydrated enough.
Yeah.
Half a gallon of water now, so.
I'm just going to sit here. Okay. My back hurts. Guys, I had an orange the other day. Like a true blue orange, not the little cutie tangerine easy peel bullshit. I had to get a knife out and a spoon. My nails would have broke. And it was so good. So good. I've heard about like fake food and now I'm super worried about it. If you lick my butthole, what the fuck? Hey Peach, you know what's good for back pain? If you lick my butthole. It's a Step Brothers reference. Don't come for me. No, I remember that. Vaguely. I also remember Boats and Hoes. They stole the boat, wrecked it. We should do a bake and tipsy playback or like showing of that. That would be fun. Okay. Back into the email.
Yep.
We discovered last year that my oldest has autism. For lack of better descriptive words, he is high functioning, so professional help has not been approved or lasted very long. It also further complicates childcare. Since he began preschool, we have been seeing new behaviors with no help understanding them or anyone knowing him well enough, to know what will work for him. We are researching and trialing things at home, but when we understand best and our understanding is limited, that makes even one-off daycare a little nerve-wracking. I try to implement a sensory diet when he is not in school, but he elopes and is a sensory seeker that does not occupy himself, so every minute has to have a plan to keep him safe and regulated. Is that high functioning?
I don't know enough about autism to answer that.
Okay. I have no relationships, no extra money, no help, and no time alone or time to look forward to. I need these things as I'm burning out after 5 years of it and am becoming useless to everyone around me. Okay, no relationships. You have a husband, 2 kids.
Hang on one second. They changed the address. They changed the email address. That email address that was chrisburkettcontact@gmail.com.
Yeah.
That was emailing people saying that it was going to cost them $2,000 to be on the podcast. Mm-hmm. Another marketing agency just reached out. They changed the email.
Really?
Yep. So the new email that they're using is chrisburkettofficialpodcast@gmail.com. They're emailing people and telling them that we would love to have them on our podcast. It's going to be $2,000.
We'll pay you $2,000.
No, they want them to pay the person emailing them to be on the podcast as a promotional thing.
Really?
Yep. This is the second email that we've received like this.
That's insane.
So and this is an actual marketing company. Under no circumstances, for those of you who listen to our podcast, will we ever charge somebody to be on our podcast.
Right.
It is an exchange of information.
Mm-hmm.
Every guest that we have ever had, we have paid for them to be here. We've flown them in. We've paid for their hotel room, some sort of reimbursement for their time to be in the studio. I would never fucking charge somebody to sit down and have a conversation with us. That is asinine in terms of this.
Right.
Coaching is a different thing, but like, I fucking hate people, dude. The nastiness that surrounds all of this makes all of this very hard to enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I need these things as I'm burning out after 5 years of it and am becoming useless to everyone around me. I know it's traumatizing for my kids when my son's sensory needs don't match mine and I have a meltdown I can't hold back and he won't let me walk away without hurting me. I would look into emotional regulation. You need to be the calm one in these situations. I understand that it's hard. The children and I communicate very well. I have had a meltdown. I've screamed at the children twice because they did not listen to me the first 6 times I said I need a minute. So I understand it's a lot. Even when I lack self-care, I do not take it out on the children.
It's not their fault.
Right. So no matter what is happening, it is not their job to regulate you. When it comes to having a child who is autistic, the way that you have described, I can't speak on that. I don't know what that looks like. You've only said some in the email.
It could still be done though.
Right.
This is a whole where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Just got to find a way to make it work. This is creative thinking.
We're taking deep breaths together now.
Yeah.
Do some type of mutual, what is it called? Getting in sync, breathing together. It's not coming to me.
It's not coming to me either.
Unfortunate. Continuing on. I know it's not healthy to see mom have no friendships or hobbies. I know my husband deserves better than
Tandem breathing. Tandem breathing.
Tandem breathing.
That's what Jenna said.
All right. Fantastic. I know it's not healthy to see mom have no friendships or hobbies. I agree. I know my husband deserves better than being a receptacle for my emotions after a work day. And I know new people don't want to be friends with a miserable, insecure person. Once we buy a home, our budget will be freed up more for therapy or a gym membership, an occasional sitter, and I can finally go to college. Ooh, what did I read? What did I read? Did I screenshot it? I think I screenshotted it. Let me look at it. It is so pertinent to this. No way I didn't save this. I didn't. Unbelievable.
That's okay. It's 4:00. We got to finish
Well, this is
up
almost done.
Okay.
The way that she phrased that, once we buy a home, our budget will be freed up for a therapy or a gym membership, an occasional sitter, and I can finally go to college. I can't remember what it was, but it's something along the lines of believing that once this happens, once I get here, I'll be happy. That's not,
Right.
You don't become happy. You just are.
Right. Well, I've actually read a lot about that. The people that are just living for the next thing.
Yeah.
It's like what we had talked about in the past where like when you're before kindergarten, you're getting ready for kindergarten, then you're getting ready for first grade, then middle school, then high school, then college, then a career. You're always getting ready for the next thing instead of actually living in the now. There's also something going on right now that said that the amount of people who are living in homes that they could not afford to buy if they were to buy it now versus when they bought it, they wouldn't be able to afford their home. It's like 35% of the homeowners. You still have a mortgage.
Right.
You still have escrow now. You have taxes. You have insurance that has to be paid. If you live in a flood zone, there's a separate flood insurance. Like there's a whole lot of things that go into owning a home. And if you think that just because you're buying a house, you're going to have extra money. I mean, if you're living in the cheapest house in your area, you can't I don't know. I guess maybe your rent is a lot higher than what your mortgage would be. I know that's the case for us, but it's still high.
Right.
I don't know.
Continuing on.
I got to be honest, knowing what I know now, I wouldn't buy a house.
Yeah.
Nope. I don't want to be stuck here.
Yeah.
And knowing that I got to sell the house, yes, I could sell the house and make money, but that depends on the market. And if the market crashes and you own your house and you're making payments on it and you bought it with a really high interest rate, you're stuck there. Something goes wrong in your home and you're living paycheck to paycheck, you can't afford to get it fixed. I don't know. I think that depends on your finances. Mm-hmm. Anyways.
All right. Continuing on. Once my son is in full day school, I'll be able to swing daycare costs for one child. I do see a light at the end of the tunnel. I do see a positive future. But my relationships inside my own home are suffering because of my own mental health. A house is our first priority because it is cheaper to own that than rent anywhere else out here. And we fear the landlord selling the house if we wait too long. We want a more stable situation when our kids are in school, so therapy is not an option. Did that make sense to you?
It does not. None of that makes sense to me. Your relationships and your household and things going on in your home is failing, and you're making excuses as to why you're not going to make changes to fix it. If your household is fucked up and your relationship is fucked up and your kids are struggling and you are miserable, how are you going to take care of everything that you need to take care of?
Right.
You need to take the time that you need to take to fucking fix yourself. And if that means doing free therapy on YouTube, that helps.
Yeah.
But you can't live like that. That's survival mode. You're going to destroy everything that you love in doing that. Mm-hmm. You can't live like that for long durations. I don't know. There's so many things that could be done to anyways, there's so many options there. They're just not being looked at because she's got this idea in her head of what she needs to make her happy. Jenna in the chat on Patreon just said that she could be taking the kids on nature walks and they go buck wild and the kids can breathe either because they can run and play and scream and yell and do kid shit while you're relaxing.
Yeah, when the kids and I go on walks, they're looking at everything and I can just be in my thoughts and look at the sky. and take pictures. And every once in a while, they run up to me and go, look at this. And I'm like, oh, look at that. And then they run away to find the next thing for me to look at.
Yep.
Like,
there's a lot that says that goes into all of that. You can, I don't know. I think that she's got a predetermined outcome and she's just waiting for that outcome to be happy instead of trying to find things to fix the now.
right.
That's a problem. Yeah.
Continuing on, but I need to see a possibility for recovery time at a minimum. I currently wake up at 5:40 a.m. with my kids and usually pass out before I get much time with my husband. Okay, well, what time is that? You falling asleep at like 6 p.m.?
Right. Well, is the husband coming home from work and helping with the kids?
Yeah, a lot of questions.
Yep.
A lot of questions. I took a bath last night until 10:30.
Yep. You did.
I usually don't stay up late, but I carved out that time because I needed the self-care. It's about priorities in the moment. I know 2 kids is a difficult transition, but the lack of self-care and relationships makes it feel like hell to be the one they are relying on.
Right. But you're doing it to yourself.
Oh, you mean the lack of self-care?
All of it.
Yeah.
This is all.
Oh, okay.
This is all the results of the decisions that you have made. 2 kids. I understand that the autism thing is out of your control.
Yeah.
But the way that you choose to parent and the way that you are living your life with your kids is a choice. There are things that you can be doing. There are programs. There's a whole lot of shit that you could really look into to like start reclaiming some of your life, fixing your marriage, fixing your relationships, and like taking care of yourself. Even going, babe, once a week, I need an hour of alone time. I need you to take the kids every Wednesday night from 6 to 7 o'clock. I'm not putting them to bed that night. That hour is mine. I'm going to go walk around Hobby Lobby and do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Something. I'm going to take a bath. I'm going to go skim rocks across the lake or take pictures with my cell phone and pretend I'm a photographer for an hour. Something. It's a conversation that needs to be had. Instead of going, well, I'm waiting until this. I'm waiting until this. I'm waiting until this. I'm waiting until this because that'll fix everything. Why don't you fix everything now instead of waiting until it's too fucking late? She said she's worried about the landlord selling the house that they're in. She'd be worried about your marriage falling apart while you're waiting on things to get better because that's a very real reality.
Yeah. I will never forget hearing someone say I was so wrapped up in my own depression I couldn't see how miserable he was. Crazy. Continuing on, I'm not strong enough right now, but I care a lot and desperately want to be on my game for them as I know these years are so important. Do you see any possibilities for my situation? I'd be forever grateful for any reality check or perspective to help me get my family through this very tough season until things level out. Thank you. I feel like we touched on a lot.
We did.
All right. Now what?
I think that was only like an hour and we took a lot of breaks. We can wrap it up. I know that we got an hour and a half, 2 hours before we need to be home. So we can either do another email just to be safe or we can wrap it up. There was a lot of breaks during that, a lot of stopping and going.
Yeah. You want to do one more?
Sure.
All right.
Let's do a love story
Okay.
if there's any in there.
All right. This one is titled A Patreon's Biker Love Story. Good day, Chris and Peach. The only thing I will say before I share our love story is, Peach, you might want to get a new box of tissues. You will need them. I'm so well known. What you doing?
Looking at this fucking David Richard who's claiming to be my manager. They sent me the email. So we now have proof that we can send to Google to try to get those accounts deleted.
Perfect.
I've already reached out to a lawyer about all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jenny said that one's long.
4 pages.
Okay.
Good day, Chris and Peach.
Good day, sir.
Oh, I already read this.
I said good day. Sorry.
Intrusive thoughts winning.
Yeah. Willy Wonka for the win.
It started in a small bar in a little hick town in North Idaho. I, female, now 32, then 24, was walking across the parking lot. Across the street from the bar I was a bouncer at, and I see 2 Harley-Davidson motorcycles I had not seen before parked outside of my bar, and instantly thought, oh great, a couple of bikers here to cause trouble again.
Oh, fuck you.
That was immediate.
Yeah, I want to hear that shit.
I walked in and scanned the bar, and there they were at a far pool table, one really tall and lanky with shaggy hair, and the other one was just slightly taller than me, blue beanie and built. I kept an eye on them while I got ready to start my nightly duties as a bouncer. bouncer. To describe my bar, it's the type of bar that plays all kinds of music until about 10 p.m., and then the house DJ plays more into the country theme of music. The floors are always sticky, but the drinks are good and fair priced, and while everyone in town rolls through here on their way to other bars. My duties were to card everyone and give out the re-entry wristbands. You know, big muscle stuff, right? Back to that cold winter night, somewhere in late January 2016, I finally make my way to these two bikers to card and band them, and the tall one hands me his ID, no biggie. I give him a wristband and ask the one in the beanie for his ID, and that was when I finally understood what people mean by brown eyes are the best. This man slyly smiled at me and said, "What if I don't wanna?" I smiled back as I pulled out a chair of zip-tie cuffs out of my back pocket and dangled them on one finger with my other hand, is still waiting for the ID. I said, well, we would take this out back. He smiled a smile that said, "Don't tempt me, missy," but he handed me his ID and didn't say a word. Now, did I look at any information other than his first name? Absolutely not. Would that have come in handy later in the story? Oh, hell yeah. But in that moment, I just needed a name to go with those brown eyes and beautiful smile hiding behind a long red beard.
Oh, you gotta watch out for us gingers with brown eyes. Although I'm more Santa now than Ginger, but
Yeah. Your eyes are one of my favorite things to look at.
yeah.
Yeah.
My beard is still red on the sides.
Especially when you're on top of me.
Still red on the sides, just not here.
Just looking up at you. We were experiencing two different things right there.
No, I know what you were. I was trying to not let you side rail too hard.
I gave back his ID and gave him a wristband and walked away because holy cow, the first night we spent all night exchanging looks from across the bar. He didn't leave that night until after I closed and cleaned the bar. I was living, oh my goodness, why did it get so big? I was living with my sister at the time and went home to tell her everything. I was beyond excited to go to work that next night and see if this mysterious motorcycle rider would be back.
Oh, now he's a motorcycle rider, not a troublemaker.
Oh.
Crazy how that works.
Wild. Sometimes I wonder what people think when they see us on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Like, do we look like ne'er-do-wells?
I don't know what they think because you got a helmet on, like they can't see you.
Right.
You
Well, they can see this.
Yeah.
Like my neck and my arms.
Yeah.
My colored hair peeking out from under my helmet.
Yeah.
You blasting whatever hardcore song you're blasting.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, continuing on. He wasn't there when I arrived at work the next night, and no lie, I was disappointed even though I had no right to be. Let me tell y'all, the way my head would snap at the sound of a motorcycle should have been a sign for me, but nah, I didn't pay attention. He did end up showing up that night, and I noticed every time I would go outside to have a smoke, he would follow and we would chat, just small talk and him flirting. Now to claim accountability, I was seeing someone, oh, well, there's the guilt. I was seeing someone but didn't feel an emotional attachment to this person, and once this biker got me all in my feels, I distanced myself from the guy I was seeing. I should have broke it off at the moment I realized I had real feelings for the biker, but I didn't.
Shouldn't have been with somebody that you weren't really invested in.
Yeah.
You're wasting time.
Mm-hmm. I told the one I was dating that someone else took my interest and I needed to figure my shit out.
At least you're honest.
One of my middle school friends happened to be the house DJ, and he saw the way me and this biker were with each other, and, well, my friend had my back and would play the song The Cupid Shuffle at least twice a night, Friday and Saturday night, to get me and the biker on the dance floor. Peach, how I melted every time he would join me doing a silly dance in a crowded bar full of drunk idiots. Oh yeah, that's getting me. I love it when you do goofy things with me.
Why?
Because you don't care that other people are watching. You're doing it to make me happy.
Yeah.
Because my smile is your favorite smile, and you said that I'm the gift to you, and that makes me feel good. Oh, God. Okay. You would think that would have been my "this is him" sign, right? No. He did it for me. What he did for me was at one point we were outside talking. Oh, what did it for me was at one point we were outside talking and smoking. He was lying on the smolder good. What? He was lying on the smolder good. What does that mean?
I have no idea. Typo?
Maybe. And this drunk girl stepped between us and just started braiding his beard.
Whoa.
I saw red and every...
No, we're not skipping.
Okay.
Let me, you know how you're not supposed to touch a woman's lower back,
Yeah.
right? Unless you're courting. Like,
Right.
that's a no-touch zone. You should be above the bra line. If you're trying to push someone out of your way, you either say, excuse me, or you push above the bra.
Yeah.
Fuck out of my way. Grab him by the back of the head and fucking shove him, right?
Yeah.
Move, bitch. Get out the way. You don't fucking touch a dude's beard.
Right.
Right? Like, if somebody came up and tried to touch my face, I'm gonna deflect.
Yeah, I'm going to assume you're attacking me.
You don't do that.
Right.
This is why I don't go to bars.
Yep. I saw red and every blood cell in my body exploded. I wanted to kill her just for touching his beard, and I had to catch myself because we were not together. Hell, all I knew was his first name. That was the sign I listened to. It was that night while having a front porch talk with my sister that I started putting this all together. This random man shows up in my bar one night, and then every weekend for 2 months, he shows up at 9 p.m. and stays until 3 a.m. just to get time with me. He makes sure I am safe and being a bouncer, dances with me. He is checking all the boxes, and my sister said to me, "Yep, you're hooked."
Love that.
Yeah. I accepted it that night and was looking forward to the coming weekend, not only for the opportunity to see him again, but it was the St. Patrick's Day pub crawl, and I was ready to have a good night. I got dressed up to the nines that Saturday night, all decked out in green, hair and makeup done. I got to work, and just like the weekends passed, I hear his bike coming down the road and feel my heart racing. I don't remember much of the work part that night. My boss let me clock off for a couple of hours. For the first time, I walked up to the man and simply asked, "So how about a game of pool?" while holding out a beer to him. He looked confused and asked if I was working. I took a big ol' sip and shook my head no. We played pool the rest of the night, and everyone that was around us just faded away, and even though this bar was full, we felt alone. I have to dab my nose.
It's awesome.
Okay. I don't remember what we talked about, but I do remember feeling like I don't want the night to end. At one point, this smooth man put his arms around me while I was taking my turn, and he held onto the side of the pool table. I finished my turn and turned around, still in his arms, and felt the urge to say, "I need to know if this is going to be a summer fling or if this is for real." Do you remember that moment?
We had a lot of moments. There's been quite a few things that really stand out to me. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
going to be the same as yours, but
Okay.
I wasn't prepared to be asked questions.
I'm sorry.
There's been quite a few times with us where like things escalated to the next thing.
Yeah.
So
You might want to cut this, but do you remember the night that you were dropping me off from the movie? I want to say it was like maybe Christmas Eve. And we were driving back and like you were getting a little bit emotional. And you asked me if this was a serious thing for me, if I was just looking to have fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
I do remember that.
That was one of those moments where I was like, oh my God, he's different. Okay, where am I? I don't remember where I'm at. Finish my turn, if going to be something. He gave me that sly smile again and whispered to me, "I'm not going anywhere without you," and locked eyes with me. To say I was hot and bothered would be an understatement, but it works for this moment. We continued to flirt that night, and he helped me close the bar at the end of the night. I walked him to his bike, and he was trying to warm up his bike and get my number at the same time, but didn't have enough hands to hold the throttle and work the phone.
Oh, you had an older bike,
Yeah.
carbureted.
So I held the throttle for his bike while I leaned in and gave him my number. I think that move did it for him. He leaned in to kiss me, and I stopped him and said, "There is something I have to take care of first."
Good. That was the relationship.
Yeah.
Good.
Good. He nodded and said, "Me too." He then looked me in the eyes and said, "My clubhouse is on the north side of town," and took off like a bat out of hell, and all I could think was, "Challenge accepted, I will find you." That night on my way home, I stopped at the other guy's house and explained I didn't feel for him how I thought I did, and it would be best if we stopped talking. I, of course, told my sister all about the night. One of our friends offered to go with me to find this red-bearded mystery biker. My friend, her 6-year-old son, and I met up Monday and Tuesday and drove around town playing I Spy. If anyone saw a silver Harley, they had to say I Spy. That's funny. You train them when they're young. We're on the prowl right now. I thought it was a good way to entertain the kid while my friend helps me with my challenge. On Wednesday of that same week, I got a message on Facebook asking why I'm not at the bar, and no bar in a hick town needs a bouncer on a Wednesday. He asked if I wanted to go for a ride, and I sent him my friend's address. My ears had grown to know the sound of his bike, and I heard when he turned the corner down the road from our house, and my heart and anxiety took off. This was the first time we would be around each other outside of the bar I worked at. I hadn't been anxious before, but in those seconds of him pulling up and parking, the what-ifs went wild in my mind. He got off of his bike and walked right up to me, wrapped me in his arms, and kissed me like I was the only water available for 1,000,000 miles. Oh, that was a good way to put that. That kiss is what I believe. It feels like whole souls are, oh my fucking God, are reconnected in the next life. There were no words spoken between us. He nodded to the bike, and I threw my leg over, and I knew I was right where I needed to be. And the only what if left in my head was, what if this turns out better than you could have ever imagined?
How dare him not give instructions on how to properly be on the back of the...
I held on to him, and we went cruising the little town I grew up in and ended up at his clubhouse. Nowhere near where my friend and I were looking. Oh man, we were way off. We had a few more drinks and ended up passing out together. From that day, March 17th, 2016, to this day, we have been us. We have had many life lessons, lots of up and downs, tears of good and bad. I could sit here and vape and type for hours. Hell yeah. And maybe days just sharing our story. I feel bad if this is too long or all over the place. My husband and I are 8 years together and thousands of miles down and many more to come. Thank you for this platform and family. Not sure how to end this, so I will just say see y'all in the ball pit. Oh, this has been an emotional roller coaster for me.
You've cried a lot today.
I can't wait to cuddle on the couch later and watch a TV show with you. That was good.
That was good.
Now what?
This works out really well when you read the love stories because I don't have to interact and I don't have to worry about being on camera. So when I get emotional, no one gets to see it.
Yeah. I like that I get to see it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. That means you're relating to it.
Yeah, I am. Yep.
And that makes me feel good.
I was only half joking about being salty that he didn't give instructions on how to be on the back of the bike.
You still hung up on that?
Well, I mean, only because I know that I know people who have gone down because they weren't very experienced riders and didn't give instruction for a person being on the back of the bike.
Yeah.
If we're turning and you get scared and that we're leaned too far over and you try to like counter lean, like we may not make that turn.
Yeah.
So
I've become like a bobblehead. I just move.
Yeah.
Yeah. You did that little like quick jerky thing on the road and I was like, whoa.
That was the music.
Yeah. I can't hear the music like that.
No?
No. How did I handle that? Did I do okay?
Yeah, there was no countering. So
dope. That was mindless.
yeah.
I was looking at the clouds, thinking about the birds.
Yeah. You just got to look between my ear and my shoulder every time we turn.
Yeah.
And just keep your head there. So I don't have anything else. Today was a lot. We had fucking tons of interruptions and disconnects and lots of stopping and going, and we're 3 hours and 30 minutes into 2 episodes. After all the cuts, we may have 2.5 hours of usable content. So
yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna edit this content.
Okay.
I may wait and have somebody else do it because I don't feel like it. But
okay.
Let's wrap it up.
Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, I appreciate the Patreon. I actually enjoy this.
Me too.
Because when I look over and can see the chat, if there's something on there that I haven't thought of yet, it could trigger a new thought.
Yeah.
And it could create a perspective. And like the people who've been here for a long time have done the work on themselves.
Right.
So like their perspective matters. It's creating
and it has weight.
More of a community, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Well, then let's wrap it up.
Okay.
With that being said, guys, remember you are the author of your own life.
So grab a pen.
And we will see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.